Well, Joshua Walker formerly served as an advisor in the US State Department. He's now a fellow at the German Marshall Foundation, and he joined me a short time ago to discuss what's going on in Turkey. I guess if President Erdogan has taken on the Kurds, the PKK, and Islamic State at the same time, he's asking for problems. Was this the inevitable result of this crackdown on terror?
I think it is inevitable that there's going to be repercussions. In many ways, the Syrian civil war has come directly inside of Turkey. But let's not forget that today's attack is actually following a longer pattern that we've been seeing. The radical leftist group that attacked the U.S. consulate is taking advantage of a two-front war that Turkey is launching. And so it has been the bloodiest day, but they're not all necessarily related to one cause. And that's what makes the situation so difficult and so fluid.
Okay, and also if we look at the interests of the United States, the NATO-led coalition, and Turkey, it's not necessarily the case, is it, Joshua, that the three are aligned?
Absolutely, and that's what makes it even more complicated. And they've not been aligned from the beginning in many ways. Turkey, from the beginning, has been saying we need to get rid of Assad first and foremost. Then we've got to figure out to prevent the Kurds from having their own place. And then the Islamic State, the United States would reverse that order. And then within the NATO alliance, there are many different factors here to talk about.
Okay, so what are the options now for the Turks?
I think that they've already chosen their option. Turkey has decided to cooperate very closely with the U.S. The level of cooperation is higher than we've seen in a long time. It's been a long time in the making. The fact that Turkey has come off the sidelines in such a significant way and playing such a strong military role. And in terms of seeing the fighters and the 300 American military personnel, it's chosen its side. There's no going back at this point in time. The only question is, what can Turkey do domestically to contain this? There's a real difference here between the Kurds in terms of the fight there internally and also with what the so-called Islamic State wants.
We know that the Turkish military is strong, the Turkish security services are strong, but is it strong enough to conduct a two-front war?
In many ways, I think it is strong enough to conduct a two-front war. The bigger question is what happens internally. Are the security forces strong in terms of all the areas within Istanbul? This is an incredibly complicated urban warfare. If the Islamic State decides to go after Turkey in a significant way, which we haven't seen yet, right? They have tried to provoke the tension between the Kurds and the Turks have been launching attacks against the PKK, and we're going to see more against the Islamic State.
Okay, you served in the embassy in Ankara, not the consulate that was attacked today in Istanbul. How vulnerable are American and Western interests in Turkey going to be now, given that Erdogan is ratcheting up the attack on ISIS?
Unfortunately, this has been a pattern, so I think our personnel are very well aware of the dangers. The fact that we moved our consulate a long time ago, over a decade ago, to where we are today, the fact that the consulate today was untouched and the Turkish police forces responded quickly gives me great hope, but it does sadden me that we have to think about these areas because Turkey is such an amazing territory, such an amazing country to see Americans targeted in this way.
Okay, Joshua Walker, thanks very much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.